So I always say, who you listen to makes a big difference. And I don't always mean by like, that people are always trying to sell you something. I mean, obviously, 80% of the people out there on the internet or in day to day life that you're going to come across, they are going to obviously try to sell you something because they have their own hidden agenda, which you may or may not be able to identify right away unless you have those antennas up. But also oftentimes where you go to seek advice is matters a lot, right? For example, in front of me I have this post in a free Facebook group, and I'm in that group because I was added or because I do not remember how I ended up there. But anyway, that's not a discussion for here. So this lady Debbie basically wrote a very emotional post how she's quit her travel agency business in 2020, started a SaaS business, and so forth. And obviously, life things do not go as planned. Life took a turn, and now her father died in 2021. Her mother got diagnosed with frontal dementia. Here I'm highlighting that, and then obviously each of his yeah. Oh, sorry, not her. So, not her mother. I misread. I apologize. So, her father died, and she moved closer to her mother. And in 2021, her husband was diagnosed with dementia. So, basically, got. I mean, it's very unfortunate, but that's life. I mean, I've seen this quite a bit happen quite a few times, and she has about 700 paying customers in her business and about 100K in sales. She makes 50K profit, and she's selling her services at $13 a month and raised the price to $15, right? So on top of that, so where I'm going with this is like 13 times 700, she's getting about 9,000 a month, times 12 it's 110,000, 109,200. So that's roughly, and she's about 50K profit. Now, her husband has an incurable disease. They have grown 75% in the last month, blah blah blah. So the question you could be wondering is, Sajid, hey, what's your point about? Okay, fine, they're not selling something, and sometimes where you go for advice makes a big difference. And why I say that is like, and if I were to click on the comments, and obviously I look, let's go by the all comments and start reading, right? Obviously, Neil has his own tour operating startup and another SaaS business behind it. So Neil may or may not be able to help. You're basically going to the fox. You are a chicken. You're going to the fox asking for advice. Now, I'm not saying Neil is a bad guy because I do not know him, but you usually don't want to talk about your business and your customers and everything openly. I mean, trust me. I've been to many rooms and many boardrooms, and no other large business will go out and talk to their competitor about their business. The other thing is like before sometimes business owners are out of their wits, right? And that's why you should have advisors and smart people around you. It doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you're a corporate employee or whether you are a small business owner, a mid-sized business owner, whatever you do in life, right? You want to have you know people around you. Even if you have doctors, that's great, but because doctor brings one opinion, so you always want, if, before a big surgery, what do? You go get second opinion, third opinion, fourth opinion, especially if it involves with your brain. And in fact, that's a great discussion for another day about how doctors can also be wrong, or they could be misguided just because they're so tunnel vision. But coming back to the topic over here is, so look, I may find some people, blah blah blah. Okay, have you written a? Then Nancy's like talking about writing a business plan, and what I feel like is Nancy Debbie is behind on her taxes. That's that's a signal to me that Debbie is basically an accidental entrepreneur, had the entrepreneurial seizure. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go read up E-Myth. But if you are watching this video and you've been following me, then you don't need to read the E-Myth, because everything I talk about, it kind of touches on or talks about E-Myth, where basically a technician, basically you're doing the work, which is called a technician in the E-Myth book, and you kind of have this entrepreneurial seizure saying, you know what, I can do this faster, better, cheaper, and you know what, I can make a lot more money. The boss, the employer is screwing me, so let me go start my own business, kind of like that. Okay, without having any business idea and business plan and everything else. I mean, business plan, it's something, one little segment of your whole business. There's so much behind, beyond that. Anyway, so Nancy's asking, I can assume by your post, your business plan would have been quite minimal as well. What about a brand strategy, marketing strategy, and marketing plan? I mean, come on, man. You're a SaaS business. If you have a good product, it should spread like wildfire. But there are other things. It just doesn't. You gotta do a lot of business activity, and Debbie is now fighting back things like, oh, I've been told by several people. I mean, it could be your husband's friend. It could be a family member who is saying, your business plan is extensive. Like, look, I'm not saying Debbie's business plan is crap. Nor am I saying it's awesome, because I haven't seen it. But what I'm saying is that she is stuck. So that tells a lot about her own mindset, of her own beliefs. She's struggling with implementation, right? That's what she's saying. I do not know if she's struggling with implementation. She's probably struggling with a lot of other things. Remember, your business will grow to the level of your knowledge and your leadership qualities. So it's the law of the lead. I forgot the smart gentleman who kind of said that. It basically, what it comes down to is like, your company, your business is not going to grow beyond what you know and your knowledge and your expertise, right? So if sometimes you're struggling, and I see this a lot, because as I am looking at acquiring other companies, I see it a lot. Your business is not going to grow beyond $2 million or $5 million or $10 million a year, because of your knowledge, your lack of expertise, and your unwillingness to invest in good quality advisors, mentors, coaches, reading books, things like that. But anyway, that's another thing. So now then this smart dude comes in and says, hire someone from temporary firm, Upwork. The reason why he's saying that is, if I go back to the original post, which I will show you, because the developer is on his way out. Right. And then Debbie asks, why would you prefer it to both other option? He says Upwork has very experienced, reviewed, and affordable freelancers who you can hire globally, including financial analysts, developers, designers. Yeah, that is true. But finding people on Upwork itself is a full-time job. Believe it or not, right? And then you'll have a lot of misstarts, false starts. A lot of people, freelancers on Upwork, are kind of working on 10 different projects at the same time. Upwork makes some cut, whether you deliver or not. They're going to look at the source code, and it's a tech company, right? So tech company basically means there's a lot of stuff happening in the back end. Your code needs to be bug free. If you're in tech company, you probably have to follow either Agile or Scrum methodology instead of a waterfall. Whether, I do not know if it's a microservices or monolithic. A lot of things come into play. So this lady jumped in because, again, she probably had a great idea, which probably is a great idea. 700 agents are using it, but does not have the required skills and expertise. Does not have the network. Why I say that is because if you have the network, you're not going to come and post in a free Facebook group about and asking for help and talking to all these people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then Daniel comes in, and he's a 6 times technology entrepreneur from Israel, and he thinks he can help. I do not know, man. If you are a 6-time technology entrepreneur, you are probably not going to be hanging out in the free Facebook group. I mean, unless he wants to figure out a way to start the conversation and figure out a way to acquire the company. It could be possible. It could. I do not know. And then Odin Smith says, don't wait until the last minute to switch developers. If the old one will train the new one, blah, blah, blah. Well, what it comes down to is you should have documentation. Right, you should have documentation, whether it's tech, whether it's marketing, everything. You should have documentation. Hey, dude, what you building? Tell me what language streams. And also, the other thing is Debbie is not sure. Debbie has a developer who built a stack on, say, Python or Perl or PHP, and that's because that's what the developer knew. Is that scalable? What are the limitations of that? Right? What's the limitation of this platform? She has spent about a long time, a lot of her money and a lot of her time to build this product. I mean, what are the challenges? Infrastructure, scaling, a lot of things come in. Suddenly you're going to be like, Sajid, you're throwing more problems than answers. Exactly. A lot of people get into business, and right now at 100K a year, and she as a developer, she has social media person and everything. It's basically a lifestyle business. It's not even a lifestyle business. She does not even have a business. She has an idea with some traction, because 700 might sound a big number, but if you look at the number of travel agents in the US or globally, you see it's a lot. It's a bigger number. Anyway, so Pablo comes back and says, I have experience as a general manager. I have running several startups, keen to have a chat. So I do not know how good that is. CN Frisco, we are a business development growth strategies who can assign you a project manager and online business manager who that can manage daily operations while we work on growing your business for you. Then James sounds like you're one of the biggest risks to the business, something happening with your developer. I would try and find a company or a team that could take on first so that your old dev can train the new devs. He does have somewhat of a good point of view, just because, well, just because what? I mean, her dev, because if the dev goes away or gets hit by a bus, then obviously she doesn't have a business. And that's something she should have thought about it from day one, right? I mean, the dev has been working for so long, but, what if she started the project? She kind of, stopped her business, took a loan out of her 401k and started this business. So, say 6 months into the business and the dev gets hit by a bus. So she has what? A half-baked product. The dev got hit by a bus. Maybe he didn't pass out, but he's in the hospital for 3 months. So, folks, if you are gonna start a business, you wanna probably think about all these things, all these components. Anything can go wrong. Remember, she didn't foresee her father passing away. Nor did she foresee her husband having this frontal dementia, right? So anything can happen. That's risk. Like, I'm pretty sure you have car insurance and home insurance if you own a home. And probably you never got into an accident or you never had a fire in your house that you'd have to claim, but you still carry the insurance. Why? It's not because you think you're going to happen. It's because if it happens, you're protected. So that's how you need to think. And that's why I'm doing this video. I'm doing it for you guys. I'm not doing this to become popular. I'm not doing this to, gain hundreds and thousands of followers. I don't want to. If I did that, I would probably do those clickbaity videos. I'm doing this because these videos are meant for my family and my close friends, for the days when probably I'm not around on this planet, or maybe I am not able to share my knowledge anymore. I just want to record this, right? Anyway, coming back, I know the perfect solution to take care of all your problems you're mentioning. I'll send you a DM with my thoughts. Oh my God. Here comes the knight in shining armor. He has the silver bullet to all our problems. I think what he's gonna, I don't know what it is. Probably he's gonna say, just sell me your business. Andrew is like, what's your curious new customer acquisition strategy? Shows your subscribers lie slightly less than 1.5% of available travel agents in the US. Do you think this is scalable? 10% market share beyond the US. He knows great temporary CEOs, but they don't likely fit with the range of reasonable comp based upon budget. I do have experience in SaaS sales as well as software startups pitching key players, including developers, to work for partial or full equity. Do you currently own 100% of the company? Do you foresee equity share options bringing folks on board? Stackable value? He has some good point of views, right? Temporary CEOs are not going to work for, say, 20K a year. That's like, CEOs are expensive. Good CEOs are expensive, right? Number two, CEOs are set the strategy. What she needs probably is, based on what she's writing, is she needs a CEO and COO, right? So that she can step away. And she doesn't have the revenue in her business to do that, and she would probably have to do it through other means. Okay, but I think, there's gonna be, you're going to win. Focus, apart from, I think you also need to revamp your sales marketing campaign, whether it's paid or organic, and all of it. She has a lot of stuff, right? Um, she, she or he, PJ, I do not know who it is, but uh, I want the best for you, analyze how effective strategies are, and first of all, from her post, I can tell you she's not analyzing her numbers, she's not tracking her numbers. She may probably tracking, okay, $13 a month times 700 customers, but she's not looking into other stuff. And it's not possible for everyone to look at everything, right? So I totally understand where you're coming from. I connected to Holiday Swap, one of the biggest private platforms. I encounter this kind of issues talking to clients, whether they're travel agent. Okay, PJ has a good suggestion, things like that. But overall, it doesn't really solve her problem, because if you look at here, which her original post, I love my developer as a person. He's downsizing and travels a lot personally as he nears retirement. I really need someone who is more available when there is a glitch, maybe even almost starting from scratch on the user interface, but I have no time, energy to figure that out. And she has been dealt like 3 or 4 or 5 different bad cards just because she jumped into a business thinking, I hate my job, so let me go into this great idea of creating a SaaS business because the world is moving into SaaS, everyone's liking it, and blah blah blah. Now, folks, the other point is how, and if you go and follow YCOM or any of these Techstars, any of these large tech accelerators, or because I've followed them, I've been in one of those rooms, and you follow, great angel investors and startup, whatever. They always say, what's the moat around your business, right? What's the thing that's going to defend your business from other competitors? In an online SaaS business, so say for example she works very hard and she gets into traction and she does all of the right things. Another startup sees that in the travel space and says, oh, that's a great idea, let me just copy it. Case in point, Turo. Turo is a peer-to-peer car sharing platform. What that basically means is you take your car, you list it on Turo, right? Someone, I see that car, I like it, I can rent it. Now, Turo as a business is horrible, but a lot of people jump into it and do it, and then they get burned. It's just like a big mess. But anyway, it's still a viable business option, right? A lot of people do that. They buy cars and they list multiple cars. So Turo, case in point, is Turo. You take your car, you can list it on the platform. Someone who wants to rent a car, not from a regular rental agency, but wants that kind of particular car because they probably don't have the whatever reasons, they don't want to rent it from the rental agency, or they want to rent a particular car that the rental agencies may or may not carry. And oftentimes that's the case, because I've been renting for a long time for travels, and I've seen that you do not know what you're going to get. So Turo came in and filled that market gap. Amazing. Turo's been thinking of going to IPO. Now Uber comes in and Uber says, you know what, that's a great business idea. We are going to get into that business. This has happened like last week or the week before that. Boom. There goes big thing, because there's nothing in Turo that cannot be copied. Granted, Turo has advanced a lot, has a lot more traction and everything. So does Uber. Uber is a $1 billion company. Uber wants to grow their business. Uber already is in that kind of space, adjacent space, and it's very easy for Uber to get into it, because Uber is trying to be the one super app for everything related to transportation, logistics, things like that, right? They're into taxi transportation, they're into deliveries, and now they're going to go into car sharing. And it kind of really makes sense from a Uber standpoint to kind of grow in that direction because it's so easy. And a lot of people already have the Uber app, almost pretty much. So Turo is at a very big disadvantage. So this comes back to the same thing. I cannot stress the importance of having great advisors and great mentors in your life. I do not care whether you are going to do your business or whether you are going to do work for someone else, or just, I don't know, you have to do either one of those two, right? Unless if you're living, you got to do either one of those, either work for someone or do your own business. You have to surround yourself with people smarter than you, people who are, you cannot find someone who's 10 steps ahead of you because, those people are very busy. But at least if you're in grade 1, you got to find someone who's in grade 2 or 3. You got to befriend them. It doesn't matter whether they're going to be your friend or not. You have to pay them, but somehow or sooner or later, you have to figure out somehow to get into the room. Because there are only 2 ways to get in the room, right? Number 1 is you have to become friends and get some, personal introduction and be invited into the room, or you have to pay your way through. Invest. I am telling you, this is what I want my children to do it. And if you don't do it, that's up to you. But I shall, if you are my family member watching this video, you got to have this, period, right? If not, we are not in talking terms, either one of those 2 things. That's how much I believe in it. With that, take care. Until next time, bye-bye.